here shortly. You're being live streamed. Okay, welcome everybody. Glad to see some familiar faces and new folks to the Tuesday Tech Talk. Clint Stevens, Technology Integration Specialist for SEDC. Let me share my screen, and we'll get going with the slides. Is that coming through okay?
Yep.
I see some nods.
Yep.
All right. Episode 64, the slides are here. I've got a lot of links that I've shared. I'll do my best to put them in the chat as we go, but you can access the slides and get to any of those links there by bit.ly/TTT22823 slides. All right. So I'm Clint. I did my introduction there. So ChatGPT, is it going to change education as we know it? It's a disruptive thing. It's only been out for about 3 months, but it seems like that's about anybody in ed tech or a lot of people in education are just talking about it, and maybe rightly so. It's kind of scary to teachers that teach a traditional way, where students can just say, hey, do this for me, and a robot or a computer program will spit out something that sounds like it was generated by a human. A lot of people fear that it may let students, have it do all their homework. Some may fear it may replace teachers, but just mostly there's a lot of fear of the unknown right now. So, but let's try to shed some light and answer questions you have about it. I did attend a little session that Matt Miller live streamed on this about, I'm going to say a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. He was at a conference, and he's a great source. He was our USEC keynote speaker a couple of years back. And I will admit that I've taken a lot of the resources and information for what we're covering today from the resources that he shared. But just a lot of good questions and information and things like that. And maybe I'll come back around to this slide, these sketch notes that were provided during that session. But again, we could spend hours on this. Again, credit Matt Miller, great comprehensive post on his website, ditchthattextbook.com/AI. And I can drop that into the chat here, along with how to follow him and ways that you can interact and get more information from him. He's actually writing a book on the topic. He's already got it written. He plans to get it out like by the end of next month. So that'll be coming very soon. His weekly teaching idea emails have tons of great resources and super helpful and not too many emails, not as far as that goes. So let's take a look and go a little further. So let's start with AI, because that's kind of what ChatGPT is built with and around. And it's just the ability for a computer or machine to perform tasks that would normally require, a human behind it, intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, making decisions, things like that. You may have noticed or been accustomed to that Smart Compose feature. When you're writing in Gmail, you'll see little words jump out in gray. And if you want to accept that, you just hit the tab key, and that's artificial intelligence. It's kind of watching your text as you type and then trying to predict what's going to come next. So it's not that this is brand new. It's been around in many different forms and iterations for a while, but it's just that it feels like we've kind of reached a milestone in the technology, in that it's the tool, the ChatGPT it's a chat bot, which means it's a computer program that is trained to kind of take what you ask it and then respond in a conversational manner. But it just seems like it's reached a new threshold of quality and of breadth and depth. And a couple different approaches to building AI systems, that machine learning, and then that rule-based systems. And with photos, when your Google Photos or your Apple iPhone says, hey, here's a sharing suggestion, or if you just search for dogs in your photos and it brings back all the pictures of your dogs, It's because these smart machines have been studying, your data and have been kind of categorizing them and labeling them and can provide some help. And it's just meant to help you save some time and work a little bit better. But sometimes that can come across as kind of scary or intimidating if don't know what's going on or not expecting it. And AI can be applied in a wide range of areas: natural language processing, imaging. I'm not even going to touch all the AI image generation that's happening right now. There are AI bots that you can say, generate me an image of this and this with doing this, and it'll come back and give you like 4 or 5 different entirely new images that are just crazy and amazing and things like that. But the goal of all this AI stuff, again, is to help you perform tasks at least as well or ideally better than what you could do for yourself. And it has potential to revolutionize a lot of industries and transform the way we work, but it raises some important ethical and social questions that I'm not going to try to answer or solve today. We're just all about learning the basics here today. So if I were to ask ChatGPT what it is, it may come back and say, I'm an artificial intelligence assistant trained by OpenAI, that's the company that owns it, to help answer questions, provide information on a wide variety of topics. Not a physical being, just a program that's designed to process and generate text based on the input it receives. Primary function is to assist users like you by providing information and answering questions to the best of my ability. Designed to have a conversational style. Again, it comes from a chat robot and can understand and respond in natural language. No personal experiences. You can't offend ChatGPT. Responses are based solely on the information, and language and knowledge has been programmed into me. So it's doesn't have access to the live interweb. So if you ask it about the earthquakes in Turkey, it might not know a whole lot about that things that have happened recently. But it is, it draws on a huge data set from which to respond to it. And you can ask ChatGPT to do any of these things: write a lesson plan or quiz questions, come up with jokes you can use for an upcoming lecture, write a poem, write a screenplay, just about anything. Just out of curiosity, has anyone there tried ChatGPT, asked it something, been surprised? Ben, you want to share?
Yeah, we were just looking at it today. We were looking at some court cases for some school subjects, and as we searched them, it pulled all the Supreme Court cases and circuit court cases and gave us a summary. It was very fast, and I was amazed by how quickly we were able to get the answers.
Yeah, it's incredible. I was asked by Garfield County to do a little presentation on careers in STEM, and I wasn't quite sure where to go for it. And so I asked it, what are some compelling, and let's just switch over to it. Well, I asked it, let's see if it'll come back for me. Sometimes it is free to use, but it can get real busy at times, and sometimes it's slow to respond, or sometimes you can't even access it. But I asked reasons to, what are some compelling reasons to explore careers in STEM? And it comes back with 5 different main ideas: high demand, good salaries, job satisfaction, opportunities for advancement, positive impact on society. I asked it today, and I said, will you write me a lesson plan on cell division on a high school level? And this is what it generated back: subject, topic, by the end of the lesson, materials I'm going to need. It references some handouts. It didn't give me the handouts, but I guess I have to do something for myself. Introduction, the body of the lesson, the conclusion, and an assessment idea. So it's just really incredible what you can give it and what it'll generate back for you. While we're here, go ahead.
Couldn't you ask it to generate the handouts for you, and wouldn't it be able to do so?
Now let's see. Will you generate a handout for my cell division lesson? See what it does. But it is only text-based, so I don't know if it'll give me like a, oh, here it comes. Here's a sample handout. There we go.
So Clint, did you ask a follow-up question on the original question rather than a whole
It
new
saves
question?
my conversations over here on the left.
So it's a conversation, not a search result, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You have to have a login, and I just use my work Gmail authentication. So it's not going to give me a file, but it'll generate some text for me. Like I said, I could ask it to build some quiz questions. We good with this? Because it just is going to keep going. I'll say stop generating, but give me a 2 quiz questions on cell vision. Go. So now if I took this and copied and pasted it straight in to Canvas or to my quiz tool, is that plagiarism? For me? Is it plagiarism for your students? That's one of those ethical questions. We might need to, reconsider what plagiarism is or what it constitutes. But I will share some ideas on how you can use this tool in a constructive way and not just in fear of, oh my gosh, my students are going to cheat on everything that I do. I mean, and depending on the way some of your lessons and your assessments and your assignments are structured, yeah, they probably could just pop a question in here and have this tool, generate it for them. Anything else you want me to ask it while we're here? We kind of skipped forward to the demo early, but that's all good.
So Clint, in reading about this and trying to get my hands around it a little bit, there's of course, watching some of the conservative sites that I have, it has built-in bias, and of course you get a lot of articles on that. So somebody asked about global warming, says yes, and then they asked it and they questioned it, and then it came back and said, I apologize, you're correct. And it went back through a whole litany of, actually in the last 5 years, there isn't any evidence, So it has some algorithms in it that are built in.
Yes.
And they're built in based on political bias as well when you ask about Biden.
Because it's based on information on the internet.
Yeah.
And we all know that everything on the internet is 100% true and accurate.
Right. So it has that bias.
And as a librarian, I'm going to chime in here. Isn't that a great way to teach kids how to verify facts and develop that media literacy? Because they should be doing that, whether it's this or it's an article that they found on the internet or anything. And then we've got the databases to be able for them to go do authentic research. And what a great tool to say, okay, prove this or disprove it, and use it as a tool to help the kids understand that not everything we read on the internet is true.
My fear is this, the kids that know about this, I mean, they're looking at this as, the next answer to God, and they put in whatever. And I think that teachers need to learn about it and how there is things that are built in that are biased as well.
For sure.
But I also worry about the ability for people to hack it, because there was one, and I don't mean to get ahead of you, Clint. I'll stop here. When you have questions, I'll come back.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, that's one of the ways to use it beneficially. So you could ask it a question and then evaluate it for bias, or look to see if there are some inaccuracies or things like that. That is one of the ways. So great ideas, great thoughts about that. And a good demonstration. I think that was just like the next, So we only jumped ahead a tiny bit. One thing to know, the system does cost around $100,000 per day to run. So why are they letting us use it for free right now? Well, because our interactions with it and the feedback we provide help further train the tool. Each response has a little thumbs up, thumbs down that I can rate it on. And so that's just helping them evaluate and help this tool get smarter and better as time goes on. There is a paid subscription that'll give you like preferred access to it. If it's something you want to be able to have, a reliable access to. But so that's what it is, what it does. So how can I teach tomorrow knowing this thing is around? Some school districts, we're going to just ban it. We're going to put it in the filter. We're going to block it. We all know that students can get around blocks and filters and things like that. And if they have a cell phone, they can access ChatGPT with their own data network and use that, in class or from home. So it's better to, talk about it and let students know that you know about it and try to use it in some constructive ways. A stopgap for now would be paper and pencil. There's no shame in that. It's not a permanent solution, but that whatever students are giving you is coming out of their own brain. Most especially in class, not as homework or things like that. But if you're, having students write in class with paper and pencil, probably safe there. Or if you can, make more use of collaborative learning and discussions so that students are, again, generating their own thoughts, ideas, text, things like that. Have students make creative demonstrations or learning, project-based learning. I've always been a huge proponent and advocate for that. And this is one. ChatGPT can't be used to, there are other tools that will actually help make like slides and things like that. So depending on what you ask your student to create, there's ways, but those creative demonstrations, things like that, or using like retrieval practice, brain dumps, and some other memory strategies to know that your students have learned this stuff and not just copying and pasting items from a chat. One thing I didn't cover here, a lot of people ask, well, is there a tool out there or can I use like Unicheck or Turnitin or something like that? No, it won't flag that because what ChatGPT generates is original. He's not, it's not copying, pasting responses. It's just not regurgitating stuff, like Google would, just a straight chat or text from websites and other resources. So a plagiarism checker won't pick it up. There are some tools out there that claim that it can detect AI generated text, but there's a lot of false positives and relying on that is almost worse than not, trying to work with it and not around it.
And Clint, when
yeah.
when we were at Ed Camp a couple of weeks ago, and I did a session on that, or just a conversation, and there were several teachers there, some language arts teachers. I see Kylie's here; she might want to chime in. But some of the teachers said, "I know my students' voices, so when you get something that's done by ChatGPT, and this kid is not written like this all year long." Well, then that's that time to have that conversation. But a couple of the teachers that I've talked to said that they kind of understand it. And one teacher made the comment, he says, well, then I just ask them to defend their response.
Right.
And then they have to pick out things and kind of talk about citing your sources. So, I think there are ways that it can be used and effectively.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Okay. So again, from the link that I shared earlier, the digitattextbook.com/AI, there is it outlines in more detail these 20 different ways that you can use ChatGPT in the classroom. And I'll just kind of run through them. Use it as a complex source of information, more complex source of information other than Google. Use it to provide student access to lots of good examples. Remix student work, ask it for definitions on a variety of levels, ask it for feedback of student work. So you could, give it examples of student work and say, grade it on a 5-point scale, and it will assess student work for you. And then, you can ask it to defend that grade, and it will explain why it graded it the way it did. Ask it to do some teacher tasks for you. think, pair, share, grade the bot. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier, is that, based on the response it gives, look for that bias or determine if it's a good answer or not with a class. Use it as a springboard for class discussion. Debate, use it to, have it take the devil's advocate role or something like that. Ask it for advice, summarize text. You can give it text and it will do nice summarizations for you. Use it for insight into big, difficult to solve problems. I showed the lesson plan one. Anticipate the response you'd expect. That's kind of a fun one. So we're going to ask it this question: what do you think it's going to say? And then use that to generate that response. Take several responses and make a better product. Create personalized learning experiences. Provide tutoring or coaching. And a couple more there. So lots of good strategies on how to use it in a positive way in your classroom. And then to kind of wrap it up, ChatGPT, again, isn't the only AI tool. It's just the one that's front of mind right now. But there are some other ones out there that are doing good things that can help you out. CurePod will take a topic and create some interactive slide decks for you. EdCopilot does a whole lot of different prompts, provide lesson plan templates, writing prompts, handouts, things like that. Yippity will take text you give it and convert it into a quiz, take it from a text or website. Quillbot will paraphrase or rewrite text for you. I kind of like the idea of this PowerPoint speaker coach. It will give you time to practice your PowerPoint and then give you some tips and hints on how to make that presentation more effective. And then there's some other tools you may be familiar with. Grammarly. Adobe Background Remove is one that I use all the time for slides. You give it a photo and it will knock out the background for you real quick. Go ahead.
I said, really? Where's that been all my life?
As a teacher in Utah, you've got access to all kinds of Adobe stuff.
I know.
But express.adobe.com. And another fun one, let's see, what is it? The Adobe Character Animator. Can I bring that up real quick? There it is. This is one that I just think is amazing. I used it a couple months back. I'll have to download it. Now there's one. Let me switch real quick. Animate, there it is. Sorry. Sharing AI on the fly. And we got just a couple minutes left here. So, and I'll put the link for this in the notes. Let me put it in the chat right now. So what it is you pick a character, you pick a background, and then you tell it what you want to say, or actually you speak what you want to say, and it'll animate the puppet for you. There's my chat. So there's the link to that. So just for fun, I like this one. I'll record, I'll say, thanks everyone for coming out for Tuesday Tech Talk today. It'll think for a minute. And then it'll give me a link so I can download that video. It's going to take a minute. We'll come back to it. But yeah, just there's all kinds of stuff being done with AI to save time and effort and to make life fun. I'll kind of slide through these. There's some other articles and resources and things like that to kind of dig deeper into this topic. And then I'll just open it back up to any questions. I'll stop sharing my screen and just see if there's any other comments or questions from anyone out there.
Well, Clint, you know that people are worried about the ChatGPT, but like you said, there's AI stuff all over out there. I had a kid 6 months ago telling me one of them paid $90 a year, and he showed me what he could do on his phone for English assignments, and it was incredible. And they even have real life teachers and people to access, not just, and it's international. And so as far as homework goes, if you think ChatGPT, they've been going a long time to math and everything else. And I mean, they'll write it out for it. And it is a great tutor thing. They're great tools. but definitely if you're not having a lot of interaction with your students, you're done. I mean, these kids can put forth anything they want and mix it up. And voice disappears really quickly when they start in 6th grade.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. Anything else? All right, let me share my screen real quick and show you what the character animator came up with. And let's play this guy. Oh, let me make sure I didn't share for sound. Apologies. Share sound. And that guy right there was, sorry, just changed screens on me. Where did Zoom go? There it is. Why did it jump over there? Apologies, man. Share screen.
Must have been that chat bot.
It must have been. There we go. Share my desktop. It's taking control. Here we go. Thanks everyone for coming out for Tuesday Tech Talk today. There we go. So I can download that and put it into my slides, and perhaps I will. So let me put the roll here into.
Got it.
You got it in there. Thank you. The recording will be posted at our normal place, our YouTube playlist, with all of these episodes, SEDC or bit.ly.com, bit.ly/SEDC T in caps archive. And then just some public service announcements. February choice board. I finally had somebody share what they learned and what they did with their choice board. Just something that's self-paced. You can go through and explore and learn more about an area of Google Workspaces that is interest to you, and just share what you learned with me for more Midas credit. Next month, we're going to cover the topic that we were going to do last week that we didn't do because I was sick. We're going to take a look at the Google Level Educator Level 1 tasks for Google Drive. We'll do Google Slides on the 21st. On the 14th, where Chris and I are both going to be at USET. So we'll do a quick little walk and talk to some people at the conference. And then the end of the month, we'll look at Nearpod and their digital citizenship and media literacy resources there. And then a couple quick public service. Again, USET is coming up in 2 weeks. Register now to join us. It's going to be an amazing conference. That's in Provo, March 14th and 15th. And there are also just 1 day and virtual only options if you can't get away for 2 days. We always suggest you join in the Utah Ed Chat every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Great topic this week is going to be a legislative session recap with Deborah Gatrell, who is a Utah Teacher Fellow. That's tomorrow. All you do is follow that hashtag on Twitter to get into that conversation. The latest episode from the UEN Homeroom podcast is Blended Learning with the BYU OER, Open Education Resources team. And that's it. So I think I may have got you in by, it is a 3:59. So
Way
I think
to
we're covering it.
go.
I appreciate that. Any other final comments? I saw something come into the chat. Oh, that was the roll. Okay, cool. Any other parting shots, thoughts, questions, anything else?
Good job, Clint. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming. Hopefully it was kind of a good primer to get you thinking about this tool, and it's not just an evil thing. So
Thanks for me also, Clint. Good to be here.
appreciate that, Superintendent.
Clint, how do you get on to the chat?
Oh, that is a link that I meant to share, and I did not. I will, when I award the Midas credit, I'll make sure that all those links are shared, but it's chat.openai.com. And then the first time you go there, you can just click the Google button and use your school account if you want to tie it to that, or you can create an account.
And just one note too, because we did talk about this with our tech directors too. Students do have to be 18 to use it. We know that's
Yes.
not stopping
Yeah.
them. They have to be 18. So the first inclination with a lot of the tech directors is we need to shut it down because of filtering and security and kids can't. But if we can leave it for teachers to access and show kids and still be able to model it the kids are going to use it anyways. So it's like playing whack-a-mole with those kind of things.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a great point. We're not saying to go and open it up and have your sixth graders use it. But definitely ways to use it in your class as a demonstrator tool, or as a, sounding board or place to pull information from.
Yeah, Kylie made a good comment. It's been weighing heavily on the ELA teachers' minds. I know we've been
Yeah,
getting
for
a
sure.
lot of requests on that. So
Yeah,
I
you
think
can ask it
those,
to write you a 5-paragraph essay on whatever topic, and it'll spit it right out.
yeah. But I think those links that you put in, Clint, I've seen some of that stuff that Matt Miller's done. I mean, it just makes you look at it from the other side and think about some creative ways to use it and embrace it.
Clint, ask it at one of these times, if you get a chance, ask ChatGPT, to change its voice to a 6-year-old, or change its voice. Can it change
All right.
voice? I'll bet it can change voice.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it can. Let's see. Let's do a new chat.
Probably have
write
to
it.
upgrade.
Just write it as a 12-year-old might, or somebody on a 5th grade level.
Let's see. What do you want it to tell you? Explain.
Talk about, the Constitution from a 10-year-old perspective, or something of that nature. What would an assignment that a teacher would give them? Write a sentence.
Oh, there you go.
Bunch of smart people called the founding fathers.
Yeah. I mean, it has voice, so you can change the voice.
Yep.
So very interesting.
That's wild, though. What 12-year-old would write that much about the Constitution?
Yeah.
In reality.
Gotcha.
I know their parents write a lot about it. We get papers like that all the time.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Matt. It's good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you, buddy. Come by.
Appreciate you. I'll drop by sometime.
You bet.
Can I do it today?
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, I'll stop by today.